Hello there. We appreciate your interest in our Junior Zookeeper volunteer program and thank you for attending this information session. All of our volunteer programs here at the zoo work towards supporting our mission, which is that we are working today to assure a better tomorrow for all living things. Now, we do have primary objectives here at the zoo in that we educate to inspire people to take conservation action, because education is not enough unless it inspires people to actually act, because without action, conservation cannot occur. Now, if you're wondering what characteristics we are looking for in a junior zookeeper, of course, they must have a passion for animals and nature. We're looking for a desire to take action for conservation of species and habitats, and all of our candidates must be willing to receive training, take direction well, practice to become confident in the information that they're learning and that they can communicate to our guests, be willing to receive feedback so that they can improve, be upbeat about the information you're presenting, and of course, look forward to sharing their passion for animals with others. Now, before you apply, you do need to know that we need some information prepared, the first of which is writing an essay. It's about 250 to 300 words long, and it needs to cover these 4 points. The first is, if given the opportunity, what do you hope to gain from your experience volunteering at the Niabi Zoo? The second is, we want you to describe any experience you've had with animals, whether that's working with those animals, just caring for pets, your just love for learning about animals, whatever that is. We also want you to explain any experiences that you've had dealing with the public. Now, that may be interacting in a social gathering setting. It may be perhaps you had a job that you worked around people, but anything that you've done with the public. And finally, we want to know what role you think zoos play and why do they matter. We also want you to get a letter of recommendation from a teacher or a non-family member on why they think you would be good for the Junior Zookeeper program. And you need to prepare these prior to actually applying, because you're going to upload those documents to our online application, which can be found, of course, at our website at niabizoo.com. And up at the top, you'll look under the Join Our Team tab and then select Junior Zookeeper. Now, new applicants will complete a 2-part application process in which you'll click the top button at the bottom of the JZK webpage. Returners are those that have previously served as a junior zookeeper, and they only need to complete a 1-part application process, and they'll click the bottom button on the JZK page. Now, you must submit your applications and your letters by April 1st. That is the cutoff date. We recommend not waiting until the actual deadline. You should definitely apply before April 1st, but that is the last day that we'll be accepting applications. And as far as our age range from 14 to 17 years old, you need to be that age by April 1st, which is the application deadline. Now, if we receive your completed application packet, we will invite you to attend our virtual Junior Zookeeper interviews, which will take place on Saturday, April 9th from 9:15 to noon. It'll take place on Tuesday, April 12th from 4 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. and Thursday, April 14th from 4 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. As I mentioned, these interviews will be virtual using Zoom, and they will last approximately 20 minutes. You'll answer 7 questions, and you'll give a 2-minute presentation. Now, you may ask, what is going to be involved in this 2-minute presentation? Well, we definitely want you to prepare information before the actual interview so that you can do this presentation. And what we want you to do is choose a favorite object of yours about which you can tell a story. We want you to spend time before your interview to write responses to the following questions to prepare for that 2-minute presentation. And what we want you to include are what makes that object interesting? What do you know about that object? What makes that object important to you? And what do you want people to remember about that object? Now, we will provide this information for you in the interview appointment email so that you can adequately prepare. Now, for the selection process, we do plan on announcing all the candidates that have been selected through email by April 16th. And if you are selected, there will be a program fee of $50, which will cover the uniform and our training costs. Now, parents and guardians will provide reliable transportation for junior zookeepers. Even if junior zookeepers are old enough to drive, we do recommend, of course, providing them with a vehicle that can actually get them safely and reliably to and from the zoo. And of course, all candidates must complete training classes. There are 4 of those, and 2 of those are going to be online training courses, and 2 of those are going to be in-person training courses here at the zoo's Discovery Center. So training number 1 is an online course, and that will include our Junior Zookeeper orientation, conservation training, one on zoo history, interpretation training, and worksheet writing. Now this is something you're going to see in almost all of our trainings, because you will learn how to write an interpretation worksheet based on our animal fact sheets. So you'll learn how to review an animal fact sheet, and so that interpretation worksheet will be the thing that you use to guide your discussion with our guests about particular animals. Now, once you have completed this training session, you will take Knowledge Review 1, which is like a quiz over the information, just to make sure that we know that you reviewed through it all and that you learned something from it. You must pass Knowledge Review 1 in order to go on to training number 2. Now, this is another online course, and it will include a training on animal behavior, on our Spineless Wonders exhibit, including our pollinators, the importance of biodiversity, and you'll learn the duties of our education assistant, habitat helper, and assistant animal attendant jobs. All of this you will take a Knowledge Review 2 over to make sure that you learn the information that was required, and then of course you'll attend training number 3. Now training number 3 is an in-person course, and that will take place here at the zoo in the Discovery Center. You are going to learn how to use the Volunteer Information Center, how to log in, how to log out, and of course you're going to get your photo taken so that we can prepare an ID badge for you. Now we want you to get to know all of your fellow Junior Zookeepers, so we will have an activity to help you do that. And again, you're going to review an interpretation worksheet, the one that you wrote in the previous training, and you are going to practice presenting that worksheet to other Junior Zookeepers as well as to our educators, so that we can get you used to talking to the public. Now, Habitat Helper, of course, you learned a little bit more about that in the previous training, but this will actually take you out on the grounds so we can show you how to clean some of the habitat windows in front of the animals so that our guests can see them clearly. We'll also teach you how to clean our sidewalks. So whether that is goose poo or just general debris that might be laying on the sidewalks, we want to just make sure that the zoo is kept tidy, and Junior Zookeepers can help with that. Now, every June, in the first 2 weeks, we have pretty much an explosion of little frogs that come out of our front pond, and they are always hopping across the sidewalk, and of course we want to try to protect them. So we'll teach you how to catch up all these frogs and release them back into the forest. Now, they're tiny little things, and sometimes they come out by tens of thousands, and so we'll do a lot of catching of frogs in that first 2 weeks of June. And you learned about animal behavior in a previous training, but in this course you will actually get to put that training into use and go observe some of our animal behavior and learn how to record that information on a data sheet, because it's so important for us to know more about our animals and their behavior and what they're doing so that we can provide better care for them. You will of course take a knowledge review over this section as well to make sure that you learned what we needed you to. Now, there are 2 training dates for training number 3. You must attend one of the 2. These are duplicate trainings, but we provide 2 different dates so that if you can't attend one, then you can attend the other. So that would be either on Saturday, April 23rd from noon to 4, or Saturday, April 30th from noon to 4. Now, training 4 is an in-person training that will also take place here at the Discovery Center at the zoo. You will receive your Junior Zookeeper uniform shirts and those ID badges that we took the photos for previously. You are going to review another interpretation worksheet that you would have written at home, and you will practice presenting that in front of the staff here. You'll learn how to fill our feed bags. Now, that could be koi food or domestic animal food, or even our guinea pig food, and those will be used to give to guests. They'll purchase those so that they can feed some of our animals, and you'll also learn how to fill our bird feeders. Now, the assistant animal attendant, you'll get a walkthrough of what those duties entail. You, of course, learned that in a previous training, but we want to put your boots on the ground so you can see where and what you'll actually do. And we'll also walk you through the NEST, the Niabi Enrichment Supply and Task Center, where we provide and prepare all of our animal enrichment. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that shortly. Now, you'll get the opportunity to do a giraffe feeding, as well as how to interpret to our guests while they're waiting in line to go and feed the giraffes, because if they're standing there in a long line, we would like to educate them about giraffes before they get up there, and that will be one of the duties of the junior zookeepers. We'll also give you an education assistant walkthrough in which you'll learn what things are waiting in our classroom for zoo camps and classes and such, and where our biological artifacts are kept, how to check those out, like skulls and pelts and corals and shells and teeth and things like that. You will take Knowledge Review 4 over this session, and of course we want you to pass that so that we know that you actually learned what we intended you to. Now, Training 4 does actually have 2 opportunities to attend, and of course you just need to attend one. That will be on Saturday, May 7th or on Saturday, May 14th from noon to 4. As we said, candidates must complete all 4 trainings before they can become a junior zookeeper. We will not be offering any kind of alternative days, and so you need to make sure that the dates that we've provided here, that you can actually attend all of those. Now, training 1 and 2, of course, is done online, so that's on your own time. You should be able to work that out, but you have to be able to attend one of the 2 days for training 3 and one of the 2 days for training 4. So if you can't attend those, you should really reconsider whether you should apply, because training is so important. Now, of course, training is receiving that great training from our zoo professionals, and you get to know a lot of the other junior zookeepers with similar interests, and hopefully will become fast friends. Now, as we look at the different types of positions available to junior zookeepers, all of them are fun activities that you guys will be able to actually put your knowledge to work in any of those areas to help educate our guests. We do have these 4 different areas that junior zookeepers get to participate in. They don't pick one or the other, they actually get to do all of these things, and that's being a zoo naturalist, an education assistant, a habitat helper, or an assistant animal attendant. So let's take a look at the zoo naturalist position. This is where you actually get to help educate zoo guests about conservation, animal behavior, and nature. This is why you write up those interpretation worksheets, because those are the things that you're going to use to help communicate information to our guests. Now, when in front of an animal habitat observing animals, these positions are essential to connecting people to animals and nature. And you can actually become certified as a naturalist by completing those interpretation worksheets, a series of each, for at least 3 areas, and get your certification. Now, an education assistant, they help our enthusiastic educators in zoo camps and classes and field trips and so many more things. And they can also help set up and oversee guest participation on our animal event days, things like Endangered Species Day or Pollinator Day, World Giraffe Day, Snow Leopard Day, Boo at the Zoo, and lots more. Our habitat helpers, of course, are cleaning the animal habitat viewing windows. So just like you see Bob the reticulated python right there, we want to make sure that people can see that big, beautiful snake. So we want to make sure the windows stay nice and clean and free of handprints and other things that might get on the glass. The habitat helpers are also to keep the sidewalks clean and goose poo free. We do have wild geese that will come and hang out here at the zoo to have their little goslings and hang out on our ponds. And of course, they walk around on our sidewalks. And the last thing we want is for our guests to step in goose poo. So that's one of the things we also try to help clean, and any other debris that may end up on the sidewalks. Now, filling and cleaning the bird feeders. We mentioned that you would learn how to fill the bird feeders, but we'll also clean those and just help maintaining the zoo grounds in general to make everything nice and tidy. As I mentioned before, you get to rescue some baby frogs during their annual emergence during those first 2 weeks of June, and we'll show you all the things required to do that. Now, our assistant animal attendants. Of course, they're going to help teach people how to safely interact with the animals in our guinea pig area and our domesticated animal area, but they also have the opportunity to earn their way into the NEST, the Niabi Enrichment Supply and Task Center, to prepare animal enrichment. So just like you see in the picture here, those items are handmade. They can be made from anything as simple as toilet rolls or connecting paper chains together. They could be cardboard boxes that have been painted to look like animals, or haunted houses, or different things like that. But all of those devices are used to help stimulate natural behaviors in our animals, which is why the nest is so important. Junior zookeepers must prove their commitment, knowledge, and social skills to work in these particular areas. Now, as far as the commitment of the volunteers, you'll work a regular schedule, which is the same day each week. You can select additional days by signing up, and you're going to work a 4-hour shift typically. So say your shift is Wednesdays from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You will work that every single week. If you want to sign up for an additional shift, even if it's on the same day, say you also wanted to work Wednesday from 12:30 to 4:30, you would sign up for that, and we'll teach you how to do that. If you want to pick up a second day throughout the week or a third day throughout the week, we can show you how to do that as well. There are some junior zookeepers who only work the 40 hours minimum in the summer, because if you work a 4-hour shift over the course of 10 weeks, that is 40 hours. But there are also junior zookeepers who will work well over 200 hours because they sign up for many additional shifts. So that is up to you, but you have to at least do the 40 hours minimum. Now, you can continue to volunteer in the fall. Now, that could be on weekends. So if you are going to school during the week, then you can come in on a Saturday or Sunday or both to continue volunteering. And of course, we do have those off-season events like Snow Leopard Day or even Boo at the Zoo, where you can even wear a costume to come and help people enjoy Halloween here at the zoo. And we love to have junior zookeepers to help with that event. Now, there are some perks that you earn when you are a junior zookeeper. First of all, you get free zoo admission for the entire time that you're a junior zookeeper. You can attend our speaker events if we have guest speakers or conservationists who come into town and they have speaking engagements. You can go to those for free. And if we have lunch and learns in which we might have like the zoo veterinarian or some of the zookeepers present information to the staff, you can attend those as well. Now, our volunteer-only events, we have some just for junior zookeepers, but you can also attend those that are for all volunteers here at the zoo. But the ones that are just for the JZKs is the Junior Zookeeper Overnight, which is, of course, very popular for the JZKs to be able to come and spend the night at the zoo. We'll go on nature hikes into the woods. We'll do creek stomping. We'll see some of the animals at night. It's a lot of fun. And then, of course, the end-of-season family appreciation lunch. You can have your parents or guardians come here to the zoo so that you can show them all that you've learned throughout the summer, and then, of course, take them around to the zoo. So that's a really great event. Just as a reminder to apply, you will go to niabizoo.com, and at the very top of the page, you'll notice the Join Our Team tab. And when you hover over that, you'll get the drop-down box in which you'll see Junior Zookeeper, and you'll just click on that. Then you'll scroll down to the bottom of that page where you'll see the How Do I Apply to be a Junior Zookeeper section, and the reminder, of course, to get your letter of recommendation from a teacher or non-family member, and to write that essay of 250 to 300 words, and make sure that you have those ready before you click the buttons below. New applicants are going to complete the 2-part application process by clicking the top button, the orange button that says New Applicant, and the returners are going to do the 1-step process in which they will click the button at the bottom that says Returner. And just as a reminder, the due date for all of this is no later than April 1st, although we would prefer much sooner. We want to thank you for attending the Junior Zookeeper information session and leave you with these parting words. In the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught. And that was said by Baba Dio. We appreciate your interest in the Junior Zookeeper program and look forward to receiving your applications and having a great summer. Take care, everyone.